All right, friends, welcome back to The Growing Pro. I'm Coach HardgainZ. All right, so if you haven't caught the previous videos in this series is all about going back in time. We're taking a look at the Canon C100 mk1 and seeing if it's even possible for you to make a career starting on a C100 mk1. And I'm going to tell you, so far, so good. I've shown you what it looks like in YDR, I've shown you what it looks like in C-Log, and I've shown you what it looks like with C-Log with a minor color grade, and that's it. No LUT, no nothing else. Just a minor color grade. I think we're on like part 6 now. I'm trying to cut these up and go piece by piece. Today I'm going to show you what I've done to the C100 for content creation. But I could also just take this, the way that it is set up, which is also similar to the way I've set up our previous C200s for run and gun or filmmaking. This is really like the do-it-all. All right, so first you saw me put on a base plate. Let's make sure you can see that. Now remember, today we're shooting on the Sony A7C Mark II, so we do have some autofocus. So first thing you saw me do was put on a base plate. I threw on a base plate with some rods. I've got an RE dovetail on the tripod. This slides right onto the tripod, slides right off. I can go handheld, nice and easy. I can turn this top monitor around. I've got my XLR inputs right there on the top handle. Now this is option number 1, okay? Let's see, what do I have on here? I've got my V-mount adapter plate. That is powering the monitor and the camera. So I'm floating free here, guys. Okay, so I've got an additional handle here, which can rotate and very easily put a shoulder mount right on top of there, rotate this handle down around, and I can shoulder mount, flip the monitor around, and still have everything I need. I can even shoulder mount just like this comfortably, turn my monitor up there. And if you recall from the previous episodes, I use the stock monitor right there just as a way to access my menus. Let's see. Okay, we've got an Atomos Shinobi 2 on top there for content creation so that I can see myself facing me. I've added the Canon EF L 35mm 1.4 because I love that lens. That's why. You can mount so many different lenses on here. Pick your lens. It will make a difference, but you can even manual focus just like this, okay? This is such a great setup. But again, I've got my monitor here, the stock monitor for my menu controls. I can tuck that away and I can bring in my V-mount plate right up to the camera so that it goes right up to my chest. But quality, that's really what we're looking at, is quality. So usability is easy. That's easy. If you notice here, usability, I can take this from content creation to filmmaking in seconds. And I still have my top handle and my XLR inputs right there. They work great, okay? We're not sending to an external recorder. We're still recording in 1080. Remember, it's a downsampled image, and then we're putting it on a 24p 4K timeline. But I like to keep it like this so that I can access my monitor here for any menu options. And this works great. Facing me for content creation, I've got my top monitor right there. I can adjust as I need, okay? So really the next thing that I want to check is the difference in audio quality. The difference in preamps. Right now, currently, we are using a Lewitt 240 Pro, LCT Pro microphone going into a Beach Tech DXA, which one is this? The Max. So I have my signals right there in front of me on the preamp itself. It has one XLR input, but it also has 2 additional 3.5 TRS jacks on it. It's stereo, 48 volt phantom power. You guys, I've talked about these BullSHITT preamps in so many videos. I love them. They're my go-tos. Why? Because they are encased in metal. When your preamps are encased in metal, it cuts out heavily on unwanted hum. When it's encased in plastic, like the C100 is, which I'm actually pretty impressed with these preamps, I will say. But typically when an external preamp is encased in plastic, you get more unwanted hum and additional sounds. I've been a professional sound audio engineer and producer for over 20 years in the music industry. I would know. Trust me, these BullSHITT preamps, especially for the money, are hands down some of the best, okay? So what we're going to do in, I think, maybe the next video is we're going to take the top handle off. We're going to strip this down a little bit, get rid of the top handle, and then put on a BullSHITT preamp, and then with a magic arm send the monitor off to the side, my external monitor off to the side, and see if the audio quality is any different. Now, yes, I'm recording this in a completely different setup with the Sony and the Lewitt, etc., but it's because I'm showing you what I've done to the camera so far. But we've got V-mount power, it's powering everything. I'm floating free. I could just run and gun with this as it is right now. But the point is, next, we're going to compare audio. The quality of the preamps on this top handle versus plugging a BullSHITT into the 3.5 TRS jack on the camera and then running an XLR mic into that. So we'll compare that next, so stay tuned for that. But so far, guys, the C-Log footage on this thing, I've shown you in part 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, go compare those. All that is C-Log with a minor color grade. That's it. No LUTs. I stay away from LUTs unless I really need a certain look or a client wants a certain look and says, hey, can you match this particular image that they've picked out? All right, so then we may have to find a LUT that brings us directly to that image. We're still going to be very careful with how we color grade it. But the point is, number one, lighting. Nail your lighting. Nail your exposure triangle. Get that down. But I am just like, I am so impressed with how tiny this thing is. You know, I came from a C100 Mark II and then C200s. But the C100 Mark I is significantly even smaller than the C100 Mark II. Like enough where it's noticeable. This thing is tiny. The body of this camera is tiny. So then eventually we're going to start comparing this to the GH5. Then I'm working on the next step as we speak. I do wish I could get in touch with Canon and somehow get a C300 Mark II and Mark III. That's what I want to do. That's ideally what I want to do. I've spent years and years with Canon C200s. I would love to then take this and show you how it compares to a Canon C300 Mark II. And then hopefully the idea is just really get straight to the top and start recording with a C300 Mark III, because we know that that's just going to blow away the competition. But as far as minimizing this package here, it's so easy to do. Look at that. Now I've got my V-mount plate directly up against my chest. I can turn my monitor around very easily and have 3 points of contact, both hands and my chest, and I can shoot all day like this. It's so easy and it's so light. It is very, very light. Even as built up as it is now, it is so extremely light. So as we get closer to answering the question, in 2026, can you create an actual career, starting with a Canon C100 mk1 in filmmaking or content creation or run and gun or whatever it is you want, documentary style, interviews? I'm going to answer that right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I know we're recording with a Sony a7C Mark II right now, but I love my Canon colors. I do. I love Canon colors. There's something special and warm and comforting about Canon colors. So go back, watch the previous episodes. You're going to see what Canon C log with just a minor color grade looks like. You can compare that to this video, because now we're recording on a much different camera, a much newer camera, and the image quality of the C100 mk1 doesn't fall apart. Even in C log, as I push and pull and I color grade it, and I don't do heavy color grades. I underexpose because I like it that way, and I do minor color grades because I like it that way. And I get hired for my work the way that I do things. So that's what you got to get to. You got to get to a point where you are confident in what you do it for a reason, it makes sense, and it looks good. And then you get hired for you. Not for creating someone else. Not to mimic someone else. You get hired for doing what you do. Alright friends, so that's pretty much it for today. I just wanted to show you where we're at right now with our C1 mk1 build. Loving it. Really, the next addition, to see if it makes much of a difference, is to send out the signal via HDMI to an HDMI recorder. Something like the Atomos Ninja 2 or the Atomos Blade, or something like that, that's a 1080 recorder that gives us 422 10-bit externally. Because right now we're only at 420 8-bit 1080, but upscaling on a 4K timeline and swip swapping and this and that. But friends, the image is, to me, in my opinion, the image is great. So go watch the previous videos that shows you the image. But today's video is just showing you the camera as we are now, and it's light as can be. Light as can be, light as a feather, beautiful to work with, easy to work with. Very easy to work with. The Canon C100 mk1 in 2026. Why the hell do you need 12K? Do you need 12K? I don't. So really think about that, guys. 6K, even on the GH5 right here, we can record 6K. We can get a 6K signal out of the GH5, and even then, the 1080 signal out of the C100 mk1 rocks. That's all I got to say today. Take a look at the previous videos and stay tuned, because the next one is going to be more directed toward audio. I'll see you in the next video. I mean, that's a good looking camera.